All right, I have an idea, and I want to bounce this idea off of you. My thought is, as a disabled person, there are places, restaurants, hotels, venues, especially like concert places and sports arenas, where I don't know what the handicapped accessibility is going in, especially traveling. There are so many times when I go to a hotel and I don't know if I can actually use the shower until I get there and look at it physically. But and I'm sure you people, have experienced this as well. Places that are perfectly within the code for the ADA, and the bathrooms all correctly modified. Everything's, correct by the legal, the right height, and they have the grab bars and all that kind of thing. But when you sit down on the bench in the shower head is, you can't reach it from where you are, or the controls are directly behind the middle of your back. So last year I filmed my first video, just a little quick 3-minute walkthrough, happened to be at the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas. Some good things about the room, some bad things about the room. You can watch the video separately. But what was interesting was, within a couple weeks of that, people from the Aria called me. They got in touch. They saw the video. And they instituted some of the changes in the ADA rooms that I suggested. Some of the changes weren't available to be made, without a reconstruction, but some of the basic things they could and did fix. So I'm thinking of putting together something that is a guide for disabled people as I don't know why my camera keeps doing that, sorry, as it relates to hotels, restaurants, venues, traveling type of things. I wanted to see what you thought of that. As far as restaurant reviews go, I don't plan on trying to put anyone out of business or get ADA fines for businesses or business owners. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, this is a really good restaurant and it's totally perfectly easily accessible, or it's not perfectly accessible, but here's the important thing, here's how to overcome the problem. For instance, there's a restaurant in Encinitas, it's one of my favorite little pizza places. It gets very physically crowded, and there's no way if you were in a wheelchair that you could get to the bathroom. But what people don't know is there's a perfectly modified or ADA accessible public bathroom like 30 yards away. So, my recommendation there would be go, call in advance, because you're going to want the table closest to the door, because the rest of it's difficult to get in and out of. And if you need to go to the bathroom, here's where to go. So again, these places work, and here's how you get around the problems as they exist. That's just my thought. I wanted to see what you think of that idea. I just registered the domain site, thedisabledaccessguide.com, and right now it's just a blank space, but I'm going to be building that out. I've created some content that in the meantime has just been on my personal blog and on my YouTube page that I'm going to organize. I'm thinking of trying to build a website around this idea. I know a couple other websites have been done like this. The biggest that I've found is Brett Approved, which seems to do a really good job, but is, just getting started. There's a couple others that have created situations where they, like an app, where you can rate sites from locations, restaurants, hotels, on a scale of 1 to 5. And you can rate the accessibility and the front door and the access and all these things. But what I've found is one person's 1 is another person's 5. I walk. I'm not in a wheelchair. So what works for me may not work for you. And I think that the best way for me to rate that isn't to rate it, but is for me to show you in pictures, in video, and leave it to you to do your own rating. Because, again, what works for me may not work for you at all. So I want to start a conversation here. I'm going to post this on my YouTube page. I'm going to link people to it. Feel free to respond to me on Facebook or make comments below in the YouTube page, depending on where you're watching this, because I want to know if you think that this is something that's viable and could work. It would be helpful for you. Thanks. Talk to you later.